Hello all newcomers and welcome back fellow Aeternians. Today we are continuing our Micronational Headquarters build by showing you more of the stuff we've been putting inside. So we have been trying to upgrade the inside of our Micronational Headquarters since we had been repairing the insulation and repairing the outside. So now we're taking a look at the inside. We had started to unpack boxes last time, as you've seen in our part 4. You might want to go check that out. But today in part 5 we are going over more of the stuff that we have in here, why we have it in here, and ultimately what it's going to allow us to do as a micronation, and specifically technologically, because that's what the Empire of Aeternia is all about. We're trying to grow economically and technologically, as well as with you all. So join us while we talk about why we have the things we have in here, what kind of the limited space of having a shed as our Micronational Headquarters is going to do, but what we can grow with it and what we can ultimately turn this into. The biggest thing right now that I want to point out, which we didn't have in here last video, is this. So we have a microscope, which adds a whole new element of the field of science, which we can get into. We can start studying things on a biological level, on a microscopic level, with this microscope. We have a kit that comes with a whole bunch of different types of slides, comes with a different light. It's honestly just a kid's microscopy kit, but because we have some pretty good lenses on there, it's going to work just as well as most other microscopes. Unless we were to get a high quality professional lab grade microscope, this will work well for the meantime. And for a micronation, this is a great place to start. So in addition to that, we also have some pretty high-tech stuff from my interest in areas of engineering, electronics, stuff like that. We have a high voltage power supply. This is a 15,000 volt rated power supply. This is a very, very strong power supply. We have to be very, very careful with it, but we need to use this in some future videos as an AC power supply. It's a ballast for a neon sign, so it's a neon sign transformer, and we are going to be using this in upcoming videos to do all sorts of cool stuff. We also have, just for our micronational visitors and things, just as kind of a little bit of awe and to show us the culture off about our technology and what we're interested in, we have this ferrofluid hourglass here. As you can see, the ferrofluid sort of climbs up and stacks, and that's something that's sort of a talking piece when we have other foreign dignitaries and things in our Micronational Headquarters. So it's just a little way to represent the Empire of Aeternia. We also, as always, we talked about this last time, but we have our map. Our map's always been important since we started this channel in just talking about where we are in the world and in connecting to other micronations. That ultimately led us into our micronational map, which we have on our website, which you can check out and find all sorts of micronations. But for right now, we have that map that is sort of our crowning achievement in pointing out who we are in the world and just the initial thing that helps us to stake our claim as a micronation. We have, of course, as always, like we said previously, our soldering station, going to allow us to build electrical circuits. We have our LED kit, as well as a whole bunch of other electronic supplies. We just have a ton of electronic supplies. We have our hourglass is still going. We have a lot of new stuff for primarily running circuitry. That's going to be one of the bigger uses of this shed of our Micronational Headquarters, is going to be becoming an electronics lab. The thing that I'm excited about personally for the future of this headquarters is that we are going to be able to see a shift in what we can build and what we can create for automation for our nation. We want to start building an economy, and the way that we have to do that is by automating. I cannot run a full-fledged economy myself, but it makes that job easier on me if I have things that I can just turn on, machines that can manufacture things for me while I sleep, while I wait on something else to be done. So any machine that we can build that helps to automate will give us that opportunity to make some money, and the way that we go about that is through building circuits. So that's an invaluable skill, and I'm excited to teach you all more about that as we go along figuring out what we're going to be making, and we're going to apply all those upgrades to our shed. One of the things that we have done for sort of versatility to help our shed become more homey, our headquarters to become more like a headquarters, we've actually added in, this is kind of silly, but we've actually added in, as I'm going to zoom in here and you can see this little hanging rack. This can be for absolutely anything that we want, whether it be something like spools of wire that we can kind of hang on there and just have waiting on us when we need some extra wire. We can do a whole bunch of different things with this. I'll actually set that over on this side, and then it's going to be a little too heavy. But that's alright. So you see, we can do stuff like this, where actually if I put this in the middle, like might be a little bit more reasonable. Now we have something where we can actually just take wire off of here, and that works pretty well. There are a lot of little tips and tricks like that that will allow us to do things with this Micronational Headquarters that we may not have realized originally. All of this planning and this preparation that we're trying to do is hopefully to get us into a space where we can develop this into something that looks completely different from the episode 1 of this series to episode 10 even. So right now we're at a good halfway point to just see where we are and to see what we're doing. Not saying that 10 is going to be the end of our series, because it's not, but just to see where we are. Right now we still have some unpacking to do. We still have kind of a lot that's going on with the shed, and turning it from a shed into a full-fledged Micronational Headquarters, but right now we are on our way. We have a little bit more cleaning to do, but it's starting to get some shape and take in some sort of personality of its own, and honestly I'm excited for it. We have this shelving here, which is going to be the main place where we store things and keep things in the shed here. We have added in a chair, which I hope to use in some of our future videos, that's going to accompany me, essentially just sitting right here. I would hopefully like to have a desk, which has been one of the biggest dilemmas, is that I just haven't been able to find something that is a good mix of height. Because if I have something too tall, then I'm right behind this and I'm constantly hitting my head on it. If it's too low, then I feel like I'm not really able to get my work done and I'm basically sitting on the floor. So I want to find a good mix. I want to have a nice desk so that when people come in here, they're sitting in an office of the Emperor and the Micronational Headquarters. They're, able to check out all the work that we're doing, and it doesn't feel as cluttered. It's a very economical way to use the space so that we can get the most out of it we can, so that we don't feel like we're using one tiny space, but a lot of different dissected spaces that all feel like they can be their own. If you've ever seen people online doing things with transforming like tiny houses or things like that, building a tiny house out of an RV or a tiny house out of a trailer or something like that. We're trying to do a similar thing where we're trying to make use of this small space that we have to create something exciting and something cool. So we're just talking about the upgrades, we're talking about everything. We have had an urgent issue though. One of the next things we are going to do in our repair videos on the shed, on our Micronational Headquarters, is our floorboards. So one of the weaknesses we have right now is that our floorboard, I'm going to tighten this so I can come over here and show you guys, is just loose. This is garbage. This is garbage right here. We got to fix that. So that's one of the things that we're going to do next on our series. So stay tuned, coming up, because we are going to be doing upgrades. We're going to be doing a lot more adding in and making this feel homey. And ultimately we're going to have some people in here to talk about it and to help us with our growth and our future. As this place grows, you should see the Empire of Aeternia growing, you should see our channel growing where all of you can follow us along. And I just thank you for watching. I appreciate you for coming along, and I'm excited to see where we go with this. I'll see you next time.